In 1998, Adidas put out the electricity yellow Predator Accelerator, arguably one of the most important boots in football boot history. The reason why that was so important is not only because of the boot itself. The Predator Accelerator, from a concept standpoint, was pretty revolutionary for the time. The combination of kangaroo leather, the rubberized striking elements, along with the very futuristic sole plate and stud pattern, something we had never really seen before, that shoe was pretty much a spaceship in comparison to everything else. That was pretty much just plain leather uppers at the time. Not to mention, they were in electricity yellow, neon yellow, at a time when everything was either black or white, and white was considered very, very flashy. So to have a neon yellow shoe was pretty much unheard of in 1998. Fast forward 20 years later, and the Predator is a sock. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of what are surely the brightest boots to be worn in the 2018 World Cup, the Adidas Predator 18 Plus in the Energy Mode Pack colorway. Bright neon yellow with reddish orange and black accents, paying tribute to that original 1998 Predator Accelerator. In my opinion, one of the greatest boots of all time. We'll take a closer look at the colorway, we'll talk tech specs and performance, we'll even take a look at how these fit and feel on feet. So if you want to learn more, please stick around, watch the entire video. And if you are interested in a pair of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $300 retail price. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, don't forget to support it with a like. And if you're new here watching for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. Included with the boots is what I genuinely think is the worst box on the market right now. It definitely looks quite cool and kind of has an unusual shape to it, but it's got this magnetic flap on the front, and then when you open it up, pretty much everything slides out. Inside the box, they include some extra foam insoles to go along with the Boost ones already inside of the boots. You also get this Predator branded string bag, which honestly I think looks quite good. String bag rating is 7.9 out of 10. And you also get a shoe horn. Moving on to the colorway, I absolutely love the way that these look. Those 1998 Predator Accelerators, while I don't have a pair, that is a pair of boots in that specific colorway that I would love to have in my collection one day. One of my personal favorites of all time. And I'm not really into flashy boots, but what those represented back in 1998 is just so important to the bright colors that we see today. So if you're not a fan of these brightly colored boots, that is the boot to blame. 20 years ago, 1998 Predator Accelerator. And this is not the first time that Adidas has brought this back. I actually had a pair of Adidas Predator X's in this exact same color combo at the time. I thought they were really cool. I actually like that color combo a little bit better because they went with the neon yellow, the black, and a true red accent like the original, where this has more of like kind of an orangish tinge to it, which is still close enough, don't get me wrong, but I really wish it would have been a true red. It would have just made them look that much more authentic. Although that's not to say that this shoe looks anything like the 1998 Predator Accelerator. So you have this bright solar yellow for the upper itself, and it is actually a translucent polyurethane top layer here, where the Primeknit on the underside is the neon yellow color, which I really like because you can still see the knitted pattern within the upper itself. Then of course, black accents in the form of the Adidas stripes here on the side, and the entire laceless system and collar area at the back, as well as across the top of the foot. And you can see when that stretches out, it actually reveals more of that orange color. Same thing goes across the top of the foot, which you'll see a little bit better when they're on feet later in the video. It does have the Predator branding right there on the underside, or inside of the collar, I should say, with some of the accent colors there as well, which looks quite nice. Some accents on the back in that kind of orangish red, and then the Control Skin branding and Adidas logo here at the back, also in that accent color. Then you're gonna find what is a wearable finish on the sole plate, although I didn't seem to get any warning stickers, but I'm assuming it is a wearable finish just based on how it feels. And you can see they went with this kind of transition fade type effect, where it's orange, then fades to that neon yellow, and then fades back to orange. And the neon yellow has almost more of a green tinge to it in the middle because of this slightly kind of shiny effect they have going on, which honestly I don't think looks quite as good in person as it does in some pictures, I will say that. But as a whole, I really like with what they've done here. I think it's a really cool looking colorway and definitely my favorite colorway of the entire Eneergy mode pack from Adidas. Let me know what you guys think though down below in the comments. Yes, hello? I'd like to report a Laceless hater. So when it comes to performance, there's no secret that the main reason why you're buying a Predator 18 Plus is because of the Laceless system. That's what draws a lot of people to this shoe. And if you regularly watch this channel, you know that I have been pretty open about not being a huge fan of Laceless boots in general, not just the Preds. And my reasoning, I think, is pretty easy to understand. The fact that these are laceless is not so much the issue. It's the fact that you, one, have no adjustability, and two, are never truly locked in place. Yes, this is a laceless boot. Yes, they stay on your feet while you play, but the part that's holding your foot in place, essentially this thin, elasticated, knitted material across the top of the foot, it's very stretchy. And it's stretchy in such a way that when you put them on, it seems to wrap your foot quite snug, kind of like a sock. The issue is that upon more intense movements, because you have these structured areas as well, it stretches even more. And if it stretches while you're wearing the shoes, that means that your foot's not truly locked in. It's kind of free floating inside of the boot, and you lose out on responsiveness, you lose out on lockdown that can actually cause blisters and general discomfort because of that little bit of extra slippage. Is it necessarily going to be uncomfortable if your foot slips a little bit? No, but everyone's gonna have their own preference in regards to how their boots should feel. And this is really the way I would advise you on whether or not laceless boots are for you, or whether you should stick to something with laces. If you've ever gone to the store to try on new boots and you try them on and you don't tie the laces and you like the way they feel with the laces untied, then that's kind of what a laceless boot is like. It's that level of security. I don't want to say that it's quite that. It's kind of a little bit more snug than that, but that's kind of what this is all about. If you're somebody that doesn't like your boots to feel super, super tight and kind of squeezing or really securely wrapping your foot, you're probably gonna like the feeling of laceless boots. If you like something more secure, you want the boots to kind of adjust and form to your feet, fit as closely as possible, then definitely laceless boots are not for you. That, to me, is really what the difference is. And for me, I like my boots to feel as secure as possible, which is really the reason why I'm just not a huge fan of laceless boots in general. They're not bad, they're just not for me. Laceless system aside, the Predator 18 Plus is actually a pretty simple boot in regards to how it feels. It's a fully knitted upper where you have Primeknit in the forefoot and toe box area, and then forged knit through the midfoot, which is exclusive to the 18 Plus. Technically, the 18.1 with the lacing system is Primeknit all the way through, so it's slightly thinner through the midfoot. This forged knit material is just slightly thicker, slightly more structured because of the laceless system that they've implemented here. You just need to have it because there aren't any laces. Anyways, the touch on the ball, I would still say is relatively thin. It's not a heavily padded shoe by any means at all. Not necessarily a true barefoot feel, but certainly not as padded as what a leather upper would provide, which I think some people might expect from something that is labeled as a control boot or something that has taken over with that Predator name. Predators historically being made out of leather aside from the last couple before they first killed it off. You're also gonna have that control skin on the top layer, which is basically just a polyurethane, just so the upper isn't overly slick. It does have this texturing as well, which looks quite cool, but honestly has no real impact on performance. Touch on the ball is pretty straightforward. They almost feel like padded socks, which is kind of what they look like as well. You're also gonna find that it does have a mid-cut collar that I think looks quite cool. One of the best looking collars in the game, but honestly just is there mainly for the sake of looks, has nothing to do with fit or lockdown. You're gonna find that internally, it does have a synthetic suede lining material with a decent amount of padding, which is fully necessary given the laceless system of the boot. And then of course the boost on the inside, which a lot of people make a big deal out of. The insole, fully removable. There's a boost one. You can see it's pretty thin. It's basically a single layer of these little boost pebbles, if you want to call them that. And really, it's so thin that it doesn't feel like real boost. It pretty much just feels like a regular foam insole. It's got a synthetic suede lining on top, and you will find some extra boost on the underside right in the forefoot area, but again, there's just not enough of it. It's not thick enough to really give you that boost feel. So as far as how big of an impact that has on comfort underfoot, because I know a lot of people are big fans of a lot of the boost sneakers from Adidas, these feel nothing like that. This just feels like regular foam for the most part. You're gonna find that the heel does have an external heel counter. It's like a mini one, I would describe it as. Comes a little bit higher up on the sides, mainly for the sake of stability. There is something internally at the back as well, so it is relatively firm. And then of course, you have the sole plate, which is a variation of pretty much the same thing across the board from Adidas right now. Used to be sprint frame, this particular one is called control frame, but I will say this has a much more solid I don't want to say heavier, but I guess more rugged construction than some of the other lines from the Adidas brand right now. It's got a solid feel to it. It's got a little bit more thickness than normal. It definitely has good flexibility overall, although a little bit stiffer at first, well reinforced through the midfoot and heel. And then as far as the stud pattern is concerned, this is technically a true FG stud pattern, although I have used them on artificial grass as well. Definitely works best on firm natural grass. And it's the same layout that you'll find across the entire board right now from the Adidas brand, regardless of which line that you go for. Although for whatever reason, and I guess it's just the larger stud tips that you have on this particular shoe, this is probably my least favorite stud pattern of all 4 silos from the Adidas brand right now. I just don't think the traction is anything special, although it definitely does get the job done, so no major complaints there. The only other thing worth mentioning is the weight of the boots. And in a size 9.5 US, the Predator 18 Plus weighs in at about 8.6, 8.7 ounces, which is not heavy by any means, but it's certainly not overly lightweight either, especially considering that $300 top price point. There are lighter options out there, although I think if you're interested in this boot in the first place, weight's probably not a major concern for you. On feet, the Predator 18 Plus is honestly really comfortable out of the box. I think that's the case with pretty much all of the laceless boots Adidas is putting out right now, given that they fit your foot properly, and that's really gonna vary from person to person based on the shape of the shoe and the shape of your feet. Not every laceless boot is gonna work out for you. If they fit you well, they're going to feel very comfortable, and there's no reason why they shouldn't, considering it's just a soft knitted upper. They kind of do have the sensation of socks on your feet. I would say more so than any of the other laceless boots that Adidas is putting out right now. I would also go as far as to say that they're probably the least secure of all the laceless boots, which is a good and bad thing, again, depending on what you like. For me, I'm just not a huge fan of the way that these feel on my feet in general, especially once I start moving around. I always feel like my heel is on the verge of slipping. And again, the overall lockdown is just not all that great across the top of the foot, which is something I'm personally not a huge fan of. But if you don't like a super tight fitting shoe, you're probably not gonna have any issues with the way that these fit and feel. I would say width-wise, they're definitely not narrow, they're definitely not super wide. They will be suitable for most people, but again, it's really one of those shoes that you have to try on. If you order them online and they show up and they just don't feel secure enough on your feet, it's not going to get better after time. That is kind of the thing about laceless boots. There's really no break-in. The way they fit out of the box is the way they're gonna fit for their entire lifespan. If anything, they're gonna stretch out a little bit over time. So if they don't fit well to begin with, it's only gonna get worse as you break them in. So something to be aware of. And as far as sizing is concerned, they definitely do run true to size. My feet are about a 9.25. I'm wearing these in a 9.5, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size. So in conclusion, I think that these are great looking boots in what I think is by far the best colorway we've had of the Predator 18 generation so far. But for me personally, not just the 18 Plus, but even the 18.1, this is a shoe that in my opinion is somewhat underwhelming. I wouldn't mind wearing them, but it just isn't my personal favorite, at least what I would pick if I was looking for a boot with a knitted upper. If you're a fan of something that is relatively thin, relatively soft on your feet, and has kind of a solid underfoot feel with not overly aggressive traction, that's kind of what the new generation of Predators has on offer. I think the 18.1 is definitely the better value for money option, considering it's $225 versus $300 for the 18 Plus laceless model. But again, if you want the laceless system and you like what the Predator has on offer, I can recommend the Predator 18 Plus. Anyways, guys, that is it for my review of the Energy Mode Predator 18 Plus. Again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $300 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. All my social media information is linked down below in the description as well. Other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.